In this video, I'm going to talk about the #1 mistake people make when writing their memoir. Welcome to Your Story. I teach a lot of classes on memoir writing, family story writing, even tips on how to make your journals more meaningful. And the thing that I see over and over again when people share their manuscript because they're doing I'm doing a consultation with them, or we're evaluating it for a class, is that they want to start when they were born. They want to tell us when they were born and where they were born. A lot of times they want to tell us about their parents and everything. All right, and you don't want to do that because a memoir is really not about you. Is that a surprise? I imagine that right now, maybe you're a little off balance, like, I'm pretty sure a memoir is about me. It's not. I'm going to tell you something else. A memoir is also not about what happened to you. Right now, you might be thinking I'm a little bit crazy. Of course, memoirs are about me and what happened to me. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how both of those statements are not true. My name is Randy. I'm a Libra. I like Rocky Road ice cream, long walks after dark, and Godzilla. Okay, this is the kind of information you would find on a dating app. This also happens to be the kind of information that beginning authors use when they're writing their memoirs. But unless the time of your birth, where you were born is important, it really does not belong in a memoir. All right, then you're like, okay, so surely what happened to me is important to the memoir. In 1962, ants invaded my homeland. In 1968, I was part of the Great Western Migration. And in 1974, I invented the internet. All right, I lied. Al Gore invented the internet. The first two events I mentioned actually happened. Granted, I've given a little creative license and to make them sound more important than they really are. But they did happen. Listing a bunch of events is the equivalent of writing a history book. We have facts. Boring facts that are not entertaining. They're not a story. And so many of the memoirs that I consult with, that's a huge problem. We get facts. This thing happened. This thing happened. This thing happened. People are not going to be interested in a series of facts that are recited in the book. That is not a story. All right, so if neither of those things are memoirs, then what is? A memoir is about the message you want the world to know, based on what happened to you. Memoirs are full of the emotions and thoughts you experienced as part of that event. Memoir readers want to take a ride with you. One way to decide the message you want to share is to ask a question about the event that you plan to write about. That question will make it easier to know what elements to include in your story. Here's an example. My memoir is The Milkman's Son. The event I wanted to write about was the discovery that my dad was not my biological father. I also felt it was important to include the fact that this discovery happened when I was 57. When I reached the point where I knew what I wanted to write about this experience, I had a very clear message in mind. I wanted my readers to know that a discovery like this had the potential for some very positive things. I wanted to encourage others in the same situation to take a chance and meet their previously unknown family. I turned that message into a question. What is family? I kept that question in mind the entire time I wrote my memoir. It helped me select which events to use and which ones to set aside. I didn't tell people when or where I was born. I didn't write about how I met my wife. I didn't talk about my experiences in the hobby game industry because none of that was important to my message. What about you? What event in your life do you feel is worth writing about? Everyone has at least one. Most of us have multiple events that we could write about that the world can benefit from our experience and our wisdom that we gained through that journey. So please, post in the comment section below. Tell me your idea and let's share them. Let's see what everyone else has going on in their lives. And I think you'll find that people are going to be interested in hearing more about that situation and how you reacted to it. One last thing, if you like what you hear on the podcast and you're thinking that my teaching method is helping you and has made it easy for you to be able to start writing your own memoir, and you don't want to wait for 20 or 30 videos before you get started, then I have a book for you. The Easy Peasy Method for Writing Memoirs and Family Stories. It has all the information you need to start writing your own memoir or family story. My style of writing is intended to allow average people to easily follow my advice. I put a link of the book in the description section of this video. And don't worry, you can do this. Trust me, there are plenty of people waiting to hear your story and be enriched by it. Don't disappoint them. Don't disappoint yourself. Start today and get writing with your memoir. Like I said, start with a comment about what event you're going to write about.